guys, I just realized that, my team is the next generation. The guys I mess with, I keep it local, PG-13, especially, Ghost, Ford, 4D, 3D, like, where's the Kit Kat? Where, what the crowd wants to see right now. Like, we shut down all those games. Like, the more we did games with those guys, like, the more the crowd would be, like, behind us. And because we do, I think it's our time. It's the new generation's time, you know what I mean? So, shout out to those guys for paving the way. But the more I see them, like, it kind of went from being starstruck to just, like, realizing that, like, we're on that level, where we're going above that level, talent-wise. Definitely not, everyone knows the professor's household name, Hot household name. But, as far as the game goes, not the fame, but as far as the game, I think we're right there with them. So it's motivating, man, to do games with those guys.
Do you think underground street ball players in general are underrated as far as, by the people who are more mainstream, more, the main events and Shane the Dribble Machines and stuff? Do you think they look down at us, or do you think they see us as equals?
I definitely think that, like, a lot of the dudes, the mainstream dudes clown the underground dudes because we're like the YouTube generation. You know what I mean? So, like, we put out freestyles, we put out low dunk clips, whatever. And, a lot of them, didn't have any type of outlet to showcase their talent. I mean, they were just hooping in the projects in the hood, and sponsors and companies came at them and said, "Yo, this is pretty marketable. Let's sign these guys up. Let's throw them in some games. Let's put them on TV." So I think they definitely have to pay their dues a lot more. I just think it's easy for them to hate on underground street ballers because we have everything at our fingertips, and we can just we can edit clips and make ourselves look so good. When some people are trash, they're making us look like superstars. So I think, we've been clowned a lot. Like, I've been clowned, 4D especially, like, all of us doing games, I think. But by the end of each game, we've always gotten our respect, and we always, gotten our daps at the end of the game. So, yeah, it's all love, man. I definitely got respect for those guys. And I think, if you got a game and you got a good attitude, you're going to get respect, for sure, no matter if you're underground, mainstream, whatever.
So I haven't had a chance to play with Worm at all, but Snake did a game with Worm a couple of months ago. He said, hands down, he's the best in-game dunker he's played with.
Okay.
What do you think about that? Is it fair to say that? I mean, you have Worm and you have 4D coming down the sides of the lanes with you, running the fast break, and you throwing the alley-oop. I'm not gonna make you pick one over the other, because they're both different dunkers. I'm a big fan of 4Ds, and I'm a big fan of Worms. But Snake said Worm is one of the best in-game dunkers he's ever seen.
I mean, yeah, man, Worm is one of the most fun people to play with if you're a guard. We had 56 points in our second All-Star game, all dunks. 56 points, all dunks. So, I mean, he'll catch anything, man. He jumps so high, and I'm always going to be willing to work with Worm, man. I mean, we've had our ups and downs and, our run-ins, but he's a cool cat, man. He's definitely I definitely give him top 5 in-game dunker out, period, mainstream, underground, whatever he is. And Ford's definitely in. I'd give Ford like top 10 in-game dunkers because he'll catch everything. But the only reason I don't put him in top 5 is because he's got so much all-around game. Like, people don't realize, like, Ford is probably going to be playing overseas. If not in the fall, definitely next spring. I mean, this dude, as much dunks as he has, like, that's the clips we put out because it's, like, entertaining or whatever. But pull-ups, pulling from 35 feet, backing people down, everything. Ford's a crazy player. But both of them, shout out to Worm, shout out to Ford, crazy dunkers. I'd co-sign Snake, Worm's top 5.
Okay. Now, I know you're pretty familiar with the Toronto scene. We've actually talked about, if both of us get out there, we might actually team up and play some games together out there and stuff like that. Tell me what the Toronto scene's like, because I've heard from Ghost, I've heard from True Baller before. What is your outtake on the whole Toronto scene? Do you think Toronto is the hotbed for street ball, or do you think if we all got together and then hoop it up, let's say in San Diego, California, let's just say that, do you think we get the same reaction there? Or is it because it's in Toronto and it's been going there so long that that's the main spot for the hoop it up for everybody to get together and stuff like that?
Man, I think from my own experience, I've been there like 4 summers now. Toronto is fucking crazy. Toronto Toronto is crazy. I've been to New York, I've been to every part of New York and just observed street ball there, but Toronto is crazy. Shout out to T-Mill, because T-Mill just marketed the hell out of Dime. Like, we thought he was marketing Dime on the internet. He must have been just going crazy, like, in Toronto, because there's still kids walking around with Dime T-shirts on the streets. Street ball is, I've seen a stripper in a strip club with a Dime song. I mean, it's crazy, man. Like Toronto is so much fun, man. Like, everyone just vibes off street ball and creativity and everything, man. It's the most fun. So if you're watching this clip and you're a street ball fan, I'd suggest you start delivering pizza and saving your tips and taking a trip. Toronto, hook it up. It's crazy. It's crazy.
A stripper with a Dime thong on. That is a great one.
Oh, it was beautiful.
So, I had the pleasure of stealing one of your moves. I called you on the phone. I said, hey, Handlez, I'm about to play in this hustle up game against Hot Sauce, and I'm going to steal one of your moves. What's your creativity behind the moves? I mean, I've seen you kick the ball off your heel, hit somebody in the head. I've seen you headbutt the ball and hit somebody in the head. What is the creativity behind something like that? Because when I saw you did the headbutt one, I called you and said, you know what? I'm going to do it on Hot Sauce. And I pulled it off, but he put his hands up at the last second. At the very last second.
I've seen the clip on YouTube. He was watching the Handlez clip. But, man, shout out to Sauce. He got some deep. But, man, I love creativity, man. Like, lately, obviously, I've been more of, like, growing up and stuff, I'm definitely more of, like, a straight hooper now. I definitely work on my jump shot. That's the number one thing I work on in the gym. But when I was younger, man, like, honestly, like, I keep talking about back in my high school days, but I would study hall, I'd go watch the clips, Nautic Dime, all that, and I'd go home. My whole basement out, that was, like, the lab, and I would just create moves all day long, 5-6 hours, just creating moves, filming moves, just me, myself in the basement. I still do moves now, like, when kids come to the gym and want to see something, I'm still doing stuff that I created when I was, 15 in my basement. So, definitely, I love hip-hops, man. I love doing hip-hops. Always gets good reaction. So I still got so many moves, man. I really, talking to you now, I'm motivated to put out a clip, honestly. I'm motivated to go film tomorrow. You're bringing back some of the nostalgia. But yeah, man, I love street ball. For real, I love it.
So, off the street ball subject real quick. I know you're a Celtics fan. I'm a KG fan, and I'm a Kobe fan. So, either way it goes, I'm in a win-win situation.
We put your money on, though, man. Non-biasedly. Where's the money at? Who you like?
Oh, man. Here's a real story. True story. I got a chance to play 21 with Kevin Garnett and Kobe Bryant in Minnesota one year. And I didn't even shoot the ball. Every time I got the ball, I just gave the ball to one of them, because they were both warming up before a game, and they're such humble dudes and they're such cool cats. It's hard for me to pick one, It's not like I'm one over the other, but if I have to pick one, just to make things interesting, I'll pick the Lakers because I know you're picking the Celtics.
That's real. It's an interview. You need the headline. Man, I'm such a Celtics fan, man. Like, people not just Celtics, but I've been a Celtics fan since we had Rick Fox and David Wesley, Raja, Marty Collin, like, the worst team ever. So, it's crazy how far they've come. Like, playing Cleveland, we finished, like, 27-27. So, playing Cleveland, my hopes weren't too high. I'd, like, stop watching at halftime. But now that we're here, man, I'm amped. So, I definitely think we match up with the Lakers better than we match up with Phoenix. Kobe, obviously, is the only thing I'm worried about. I mean, Kobe's the man right now. So, but Rondo's killing. Glenn Davis is killing. Perks is a goon, but he's doing his thing. And Pierce is a Kobe stopper. Pierce is the LeBron stopper, and Pierce is the Kobe stopper. He's the truth. Celtics in 6. You heard it here first. Mid TV, Double H, the Celtics in 6.
Yeah, I hear you. So, what's gonna be the next big thing? I know you're kind of going into your CEO role. So right now you're not even Handlez. You're Daniel right now. You're Daniel the CEO. Which is a cool hat to have for you because if need be,